Hello and welcome back. Today we're continuing our series looking at the top 10 breakout fantasy players from 23-24. Now, almost all of the players on this list have played 3 seasons or less in the league, and all of them have taken big strides in that time to become fantasy relevant, depending on your league size and format. Now, I do want to mention that this list does not include rookies, a few of whom did break out in a big way last year. But we'll keep that for a separate video, and today we're going to be looking at number 9 on the list, and that is Fabian Zetterlund. Zetterlund started to become an NHL regular and make a name for himself in the 22-23 season, where he scored 20 points in 45 games with New Jersey. He was traded a few days before the trade deadline in the deal that sent Timo Meier to the Devils, and he struggled mightily to adjust, scoring only 3 assists in 22 games to close out 22-23. Fast forward to this past year, with almost no talent on the Sharks roster, Zetterlund was catapulted into a top 6 role with some power play time. He parlayed that into a 24-goal, 44-point season and finished 3rd on the team in scoring, behind Granlund and William Eklund, another player who was considered for this list. Now, the reason for choosing Zetterlund over Eklund becomes a little bit more clear when you look at his player hub. So the main theme here is improvement across the board. You can see him going from a 45 back in the 22-23 season all the way up to a 75. And he did that on the backs of a lot of different things. So first off, he increased his blocks to 0.87, hits up to 1.46, almost a hit and a half per game. His power play numbers jumped mightily. So you look at 0 power play points, 3 power play points in 22-23, up to 16 power play points with 6 power play goals last year, and that was a main reason for him being ownable in fantasy. He was on this bad team that didn't have a lot of guys to use on that power play, and so he benefited from that role. Now, in addition to that, one of the main things about Zetterlund that's been good for most of his career, but especially this past year, is his shot volume. 2.5 shots per game is not bad, and obviously some of these guys that are younger and are putting up good shot volume means that you'll go through stretches where they're putting up 3 or 4 shots a game for a couple weeks on end, and then they go a little bit colder through different stretches where they may not have as much talent to work with guys in and out of the lineup. One of the things that we will mention in this is that line of Zetterlund, Granlund, and Duclair was one of the best lines for the San Jose Sharks. They were in terms of the total number of minutes played, they were number 1 on the team with 307 minutes played. And then on top of that, they were the highest expected goals for total with 13.2. And the next highest was Eklund, Hurdle, and Zadina with 4.9 expected goals. So I'd imagine whoever the new coach of the Sharks is, he will probably want to keep Zetterlund with Granlund. Now, Granlund was also productive with 60 points in 69 games, and you add to that the fact that this year, the Sharks are likely to add Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith into that top 6, which may mean an increase in talent to work with on the power play. Now, let's take a look at the difference between the seasons. So you look at 21-22 when he was first coming into the league, that shot volume is there. That's what you like to see, but the power play numbers weren't. The hits were there, but a little bit lower, and the blocks as well. Then you move on to 22-23, which turned out to be a little bit disastrous for him after the trade. And you see the hits drop, the blocks drop off completely. Basically marginal power play points here, 3 power play points. The shot volume dropped, everything dropped across the board. And then you bring it back up to 23-24 and everything jumps up. He's now 86th percentile in goals, 89th in shot volume, 85th in power play production, 66th in hits per game, which is not bad at all. Now, the only thing that we do have to mention here is his plus-minus is abysmal. You do not want to own him in a plus-minus league. You don't want to own any Sharks in a plus-minus league. And if you're in a league that uses plus-minus, I would definitely recommend talking to your commissioner and getting that out of your league for the upcoming season, because it's very difficult. It limits the amount of players that you can use on any given basis by a significant margin, because anybody on these bad teams is basically unownable for that one reason alone. So please get rid of your plus minus if you do have it. With all that said, the Sharks should be minorly improved next year. Zetterlund, one of the reasons that he was on this list, there's a couple of other guys that we could have featured, but this list was based on an analysis comparing a player's previous 3-year average, or 2 in Zetterlund's case, against their 23-24 player rating. And Zetterlund led the entire group with an improvement of 22.45. So it was really hard to leave him off this list, despite the fact that his point production is a little bit lower than some of the other guys on this list. But on that bad team with that power play time and those new players, Celebrini and Smith coming in this year. This could be a nice opportunity to try to go out and grab Zetterlund. If you're in a really deep league, you could probably do it in the draft. Otherwise, you could probably look for him on the waiver wire. But that's going to do it for this video. Keep your eyes peeled for the next installment of this series where we're going to take a look at number 8 on the list, and here's a hint of who that will be. It will be very difficult for me to make that video after what happened on Saturday night. That's all I'll say for now, so thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.